Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Colby from Sanitarian Productions. We're back again with another board game expansion unboxing. In this episode, we're taking a look at the Masters of the Universe, the board game, the Evil Horde, an expansion for Masters of the Universe, the board game. This comes at us from Simon and Mattel Games and Power System, I guess. This was part of the 2022 Kickstarter launch, and it actually delivered in 2023, roughly late March-ish, early April, but just now getting out and putting it on the table for us. This particular expansion is supposed to be available at retail, so if you were not able to get in on the Kickstarter when it was live, you should have a second chance to go pick up this expansion along with the actual core box itself. That being said, I also have here this, which is the Mantisaur Kickstarter exclusive miniature. So this particular miniature was not supposed to be available at retail. This was Kickstarter only, and the only way you could get it was through the Kickstarter or secondary stores, etc., etc., etc. I'm including it here because it's supposed to go with this particular set, but bear in mind that the actual expansion itself is just the box here and the stuff that comes with the box. This white Mantisaur box is not part of this set. It is separate, but I'm going to cover it here because it's actually part of this. But retail, not retail. Not Kickstarter, Kickstarter. I know it's kind of weird, but that's the way it is. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into this thing, and we will also dive into this when we actually get into the miniatures a little bit later. But for right now, I'm going to slide that to the side so we can kind of ignore it for right now. I love the artwork on this particular expansion here. The Horde are a very evil group that really played more of a part in the She-Ra franchise than the He-Man franchise, but they share some of the same mythos, some of the same backstory and things like that. So it's great that they included it here, especially since we did get the She-Ra expansion as well. So having the Evil Horde as an expansion is just great. That's money right there. Love the artwork. Looks really awesome. We've got some really cool looking villains and things in here. Let's go ahead and look at this thing here. So the top of the box has that kind of same cell art there. We're going to rotate it over. We've got a slightly different view of it right there. The bottom is essentially the same as the top. And then we got a slightly different view on that side as well. The back side has all the cool stuff that we get included in this expansion. We have 19 plastic models, 60 cards, 13 tokens. This is for 1 to 5 players, 14 and up, 1 hour. A Masters of the Universe. The board game Clash for Eternia core box is needed to enjoy this expansion. And let's go through some of the rest of this contact here stuff. While Hordak's nemesis may no longer live, Hero's descendants, the so-called Masters of the Universe, will come to suffer Hordak's wrath. The Evil Horde expansion brings an entirely new faction to Clash for Eternia, comprised of an all-new set of nefarious villains, each with their own skill paths, unique abilities, and cards to be played by the controller, player, or as an AI-controlled character. It's time to slay anyone who stands in your way. All hell breaks loose as Hordak sets his warriors upon Eternia. Very, very cool flavor text. Characters included on the back of the box, we have Hordak, Mantana, Leech, Modulok, Hordak on Mantisaur, Grizzlor, Catra, Shadow Weaver, 8 Horde Troopers, and 3 Horde Wraiths. Very, very awesome. So we had a version of Hordak in the base game. So this one gives us the mounted version of Hordak on Mantisaur, and then the Kickstarter exclusive is just the single mount for the Mantisaur. So think of it like He-Man and Battle Cat. We got He-Man separately. We got Battle Cat separately. They included the Mantisaur as a separate piece here. So that's kind of what it is. So let's go ahead and dive into this thing. I'm going to go ahead and slice this backside of this plastic wrap off. I'm excited for this one here. The She-Ra one I was pretty impressed with, to be honest with you, but I wasn't expecting a lot. And sadly, I'm expecting a lot from this one, so we'll see how well that actually plays out for me. So, slide my hands up under here, pull the box cover off, and we have our first glimpse of what's going on inside here. Alright, up first we do have these tokens. A nice little token sheet. We've got all the characters that we listed from before, and these cool little blue purplish energy portal things, balls, I don't know. Flipping it over to the back side, it's the same stuff. They do have the copyright information on one side of the character tokens, so that is a little odd, but it is what it is. So anyway, there's our punch out board. We'll set that to the side and come back to that here in a moment. Next we have some cards. We've got our large cards here that we will dive into these here in just a minute and get a closer up look. We've got our regular cards, and we have our miniature cards. Like our previous look at the She-Ra expansion, this one has a little tray here that pops out to help you keep these little cards separated. So that's a nice little touch. And then the big cards fit back in here, and the small cards fit inside of there as well. So that's pretty nice. You pull the rest of this out, the tray with the miniatures, and there's nothing else inside the box here. We will take a look here at the characters included in here. So we have Hordak, Mantana, Catra, Modulok, rotating the box, Grizzlor, Shadow Weaver, Leech, the Horde Trooper, and then we repeat. Hordak, Mantana, Catra, Modulok, Grizzlor, Shadow Weaver, Leech, and the Horde Wraith. Wait, that's not the same side, is it? Yeah, they've swapped out the Horde Wraith for the Horde Trooper on the box. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. There is the box itself. We've got the miniatures in the nice gray color. I'm going to slide the miniatures over to the side. We will come back and look at those individually here in just a moment. So, for right now, though, we're going to slide that tray over here, and then we're going to zoom in and take a look at our cards first. So, let's reposition the camera real quick here. Give me just a second, and we'll go through all the cards here. I think that should work for our cards. Get the light adjusted here just a little bit so we're not completely off our rocker. We'll do regular cards second and miniature cards third, and start with the large cards. How's that? Alright, let's get this plastic off of the cards. Come on, cooperate with me a little bit. There we go. Alright, now we can go that to the side here. So we got front and back on these. So what I have found that seems to work pretty well is to do all the fronts first, and then we'll discard them and then go through the back side and a second pass. So feel free to pause these at any time if you want a closer look at any of these here. Let me adjust the light so you can get a slightly better view. This artwork just really is awesome here, so I do like that. So first up we have Hordak, Mantana, Leech, Catra, Modulok, Grizzlor, Shadow Weaver. Alright. Now we'll rotate the cards a little bit here and do the same thing here. If I can get the glare off of that for y'all. We've got Hordak, Catra, Mantana, Grizzlor, Leech, Modulok, Shadow Weaver, and our Mounted. Alright. Our next, or the reverse side here, we'll start with this one, which is Hordak on Mantisaur. We have Shadow Weaver, Modulok, Leech, Grizzlor, Mantana. For whatever reason, this design is just amazing to me. Catra, Hordak. Then we've got the art card version of Shadow Weaver, Grizzlor, Modulok, Catra, Leech, Mantana, and Hordak. Those are all very awesome here. We'll slide those over to the side. We'll grab our miniature cards, or our regular size cards, sorry, not miniatures. Those will be last. And pull them out. I got a piece of tape or something stuck to my finger. Alright, so these regular size cards, we have a terrain, an elite minion, and a minion. So in the past, we have had like an NPC minion. I think this is the first time we're seeing the elite minion here, and then terrain here. Front side, we've got the Horde Trooper, which is our minion. We've got our Horde Wraith, which is our elite minion. And the Shadow Cage, which is what that purple glowy thing was. So, again, only 3 regular size cards, but that's okay. No big deal there. And then lastly, we have our mini pack of cards. Or pack of mini cards, however you want to look at it. Let's pop this off. Alright, very cool. Throw that away. So these cards, if it holds true with the way we have done the rest of these, this will be 2 stacks. Yeah, so 2 stacks. So these are our ability cards, and then these are our actual character cards. So we end up with a controller, a player, and a player for each character. So 3 cards that are going to be pretty much the same. So we'll only go through these one time. But you can see it's got the nice artwork on it here. So we have Hordak 1, 2, 3. Then we have Catra 1, 2, 3. Leech 1, 2, 3. Shadow Weaver 1, 2, 3. Modulok 1, 2, 3. Mantana 1, 2, 3. And then Grizzlor 1, 2, 3. Very nice there. Alright, so we set that stack to the side, and then we have finally our character attributes, paths, skills, whatever you want to call it here. These are going to be front and back, so we will run through these one time for each side. So starting with this side, we've got Wraith Queen, and I'm going to discard these face down like that, and then we'll go back to that card deck in a minute. Next, we got Mind Control, Shadow Coils, Rapid Reconfigure, Reinforced Body, Laser Pistols, Lethal Parasite, No Skeleton, Suction Toss, Enraged, Reckless Charge, Ground Smash, Infiltrate, Scout, Stun Beam, Unlocked Magic, Aggression, Quick Strike, Dark Vortex, Rocket, Buzzsaw. I'm assuming that Buzzsaw is a throwback to the Hurricane Horde, but we'll see here. Alright, next we have Energy Cannon, Hex, Mantisaur, Parry, Ambition, Force Captain, Paralysis. I'm struggling today. Paralysis Beam. I don't know why that was so hard. Agile, Ambush, Brute Strikes, Bloodthirsty, Unstoppable, Leech Power, Suction Grip, Easy Prey, Pinchers, Extra Legs, Reconstruct, Telekinesis, I didn't butcher that word, Teleport, Shadow Cage. Yeah, that's one of the reasons you shouldn't do this after a long day of working. Your brain gets fried and you just forget words and how to pronounce them. So there is our character skill cards. Very, very cool looking. Alright, time to look at our miniatures. So let me readjust here. I think that'll work. That look like it's all on screen. Okay, so because we got the cards separated out, I'm going to go ahead and add them back into the tray here. So our little cards go in this removable tray, which I like removable trays. I don't know why that tickles me the way it does, but it does. These cards will go in here as well. We got our 3 cards here that will stick right here, and then our larger cards fit right here. Alright, miniature time. We do have tape on the actual tray itself here, so we've got a piece of tape right here at the bottom. One on this side, one on this side, and one on this side. So one on each side. Let's go ahead and just cut that off. Slicing the tape. Okay, and then in theory, the tray will just lift off. It did. Very nice. And we have nice gray miniatures here, so I like that. I'm going to grab my black background thing here. For whatever reason, I've noticed that it's they show up a little bit better with that. So, alright, we have all the characters here, and I'm going to pull my box to use as a reference, so I'll know who the devil these things are. Though I think I know most of them, but anyways. So we have the Hordak on Mantisaur. We've got Mantana. We've got Modulok, Grizzlor, Leech, Catra. That looks like it is Hordak himself, the Shadow Weaver, and then 3 Shadow Wraiths. And then we've got Horde Troopers, 2 stacks of them. So 2 different sculpts with 4 miniatures for each sculpt. So that is cool. And then 3 of those. So I'm going to take this tray and pull it over here. And we're going to reposition the camera again. Bear with me. We'll get here eventually. And then we're going to look at each one of these individually here. I'm going to start with the Horde Troopers. So we're going to pull one. Let's see what this says. This says, can y'all see that? 083. So this is our Horde Troopers. Sculpt 1, I guess we could say. Looks very nice. I always like these Horde Troopers, and I don't know, I'm going to have to try to play with the light a little bit. The light gray is not as bad as the flesh-colored miniatures we've had, but is also not playing very nicely. So 083. And we got some nice detail on here as well, so we'll scroll all the way around with these guys. Very cool. How close can we get in there? About right there. So we get 4 of these guys. Then our second sculpt for the same character looks like just to be the mirrored. So the other one were pointing with their right hand on the trigger. This one's got the left hand on the trigger. And it is number 040. Other than that, it looks like it's the same sculpt. So, still not a bad idea. These were the troop builders of the Masters of the Universe Horde. Which is funny, so the Horde characters actually came out as Masters of the Universe villains, whereas the Princesses of Power came out in a different line, so they had different branding on the cards. So the bad guys, for whatever reason, fell within the Masters of the Universe kind of lexicon. But the Princesses of Power did not. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on to our Horde Wraiths. This is number 94. We do have 3 different ones of this that are all the same sculpt. We're just going to look at one of them. But a nice looking figure. These Horde Wraiths actually came out as figures in the Masters of the Universe Classics line first. We didn't get these in the Vintage line, but these are still awesome looking. I really do like these bad guys for whatever reason. I probably know why I do, but yeah, anyway. Next up, we will grab Leech. This is number 38. This guy looks pretty awesome. Let me get that focused on him and not my finger. This one, the sculpt is just really tight, on point. Look at that crazy sucker face. That's pretty badass. Alright, next we have Modulok. This is number 39. He has 3 legs, if you'll notice. Alright, rotating him around, sorry. I get distracted looking at all this stuff. Modulok is one of the characters I did not have as a kid. He came in a weird box instead of a blister pack, and I just never actually picked him up. So, but he was one of the cool ones where you could pull the parts off separately and rearrange them to be whatever you wanted it to be. So that was always kind of a cool thing, a nice little gimmick. But next up we have Montana. Come on, focus. Montana. Oh, this guy's just gruesome looking. So cool. For me, Montana was essentially the answer to Mechanic. He had the cool bug eye little effect there. And for whatever reason, the toys, the original vintage line, the legs never quite looked right. I really liked the way that he's supposed to have 4 legs. The vintage action figure ended up having essentially 2 legs, but they were really big and wide legs to make it look like he had 4 legs, but it still was 2 legs, so I like this design better. Next up we have the Shadow Weaver, our female for the Horde, number 41. A very nice, kind of simple sculpt design here. Very cool. We actually got a version of this character in both the Classics line and the Super 7 retro vintage line kind of thing. Still very cool looking. Next up we have Hordak himself in all his massive glory here. And he's even got the little dragon thing on his wrist, so that's awesome. His staff may be bent just a little bit, but not too terribly bad. Let's see if he's going to let us zoom in on this guy enough to see that crazy vampirish face. Yeah, this one's got amazing details. I like this guy a lot. Next up we have Catra. We lost focus again. Sorry. Focus. Catra, another villain. Or female villain, sorry. Villainous? Yes. And I think she was part of the Princesses of Power line and not part of the He-Man line as far as the packaging goes and the franchisee stuff. Got like a piece of plastic on her forehead. There we go. A nice little cat mask. Cool. Next we have Grizzlor. There we go. He's back in focus now. Number 37. This guy was awesome. So in the vintage figure line, this guy had actual real fur. So a big fuzzy dude is what this guy was. But when you actually see the design on him, he looks cool. We'll see if we can get in here a little bit with his head. That's an awesome face sculpt. It's like a big bear thing. That's cool. And next up we have... I lost my focus again. I need to quit that. We have the Hordak on Mantisaur. So this is the mounted version. Much like Skeletor and Panther and He-Man and Battle Cat, we've got Hordak riding the Mantisaur. These things look awesome. I like the detail in all these things. We probably won't get a good close-up of Hordak because For whatever reason, when we're doing these mounted guys, we can't get into the face to see that with the way my camera works, but there's a close-up of the Mantisaur head. And then we'll try to see what we can get in here. That's about the best we're going to do on the Hordak face sculpt. But yeah, very cool looking though. I like this one quite a bit. Alright, there we go. That is the last miniature that we've got. Let's go ahead and put these guys back in the box. And we have one space left here, which is actually sized perfectly for this guy, our Mantisaur Kickstarter exclusive. So if you take the box slides right into this open spot here without any issues whatsoever. So that is very, very cool here. I'm going to pull this guy out now. And we're going to actually look at the box itself and see what we can see here. I'll set these guys to the side here. Take a look at this thing. So this was the Kickstarter exclusive part of this set. They decided to release the Mantisaur without the rider separately in a separate box here. So yeah, I mean, I understand it in that they gave you the mounted version, so you've got the Mantisaur with Hordak on him, but you can't do the Mantisaur by itself. So play-wise, it makes sense that this would be a Kickstarter exclusive because it really has no real play value, I guess. It's still just kind of weird to me that they did this. Anyway, nice little artwork right there. The rest of the box is just plain white all the way around except for the UPC code. And that gives us the Mantisaur MTU-KS08 for the Kickstarter exclusive number and the barcode for it. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and open this guy up here. We do have plastic all the way around, so we're just going to cut the plastic off here. If I can get in here for it. And it's sticking to my finger. They did the same thing with the Cal figure for the She-Ra and the Great Rebellion, in that they released Cal in the separate little shipper box thing here. But they included the little indent in the actual expansion itself for the placeholder here. So now that we got it out, we're going to do this little thumb thing here. Try to do this little thumb thing right here. And nice. So they included a little plastic tray to keep the actual miniature in. And hey, that is unique. We also get the card with it. That is crazy. We didn't get the card with Cal, so I did not expect that. But alright, let's go ahead and look at the card first since we got it here. And since it's a single card, we don't have to take it out of the plastic tray here. So, but we've got Mantisaur. And we got the mount on the back. So that is pretty cool. I'm going to take that and stick that with my other cards. Now let's take a look at Mantisaur itself. Popping it out of a little tray here. They do have that molded into the tray. So it's got that same number here, MTU-KS08. So that's cool. And then the actual Mantisaur itself looks like it's the same sculpt that we had before, but without Hordak on him. So that is still pretty awesome. We have a number here, and I may have the light up too much. There we go. 087 is the number for Mantisaur. Really nice design on this guy. Crazy mechanized praying mantis. Looking for those words again. Got some cool laser guns on the back. You can see the cool saddle there. Very, very, very cool here. So as far as the actual tray itself goes, you can stick this guy in the tray and then put the tray in the box here, and it looks like it's part of the whole gang system. For whatever reason though, I actually like putting it back into the box and closing the box up and then sticking it in here. Luckily it fits either way, but for whatever reason I really like that, and I like the look of it in the box there. So it is kind of obvious that it's not part of the base game, I guess you could say. I mean, that's the way I've chosen to interpret it anyhow. Let me get rid of this thing here. So yeah, it's pretty cool here. Got all our miniatures here. So far, this particular set of miniatures has been my favorite. And now that I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, I believe that one of the reasons for that is just the designs of the villains in this particular set. They all harken back to those monster movie kind of gimmicks, and they do that really well. So, like Leech as an example, he's got that kind of Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of vibe to him. He's a really huge, hulking, just monstrosity. Same thing for Montana. I think I am drawn to that particular character because of his alienness, his grotesqueness, his, the monstrosity that he is. And for whatever reason, that works completely in this set with everything except for maybe Catra. All the rest of these characters fit that mold, and maybe the Horde Wraiths kind of diverge a little bit from that. I mean, they're kind of warlocky kind of things, I guess, but the rest of these things very much fit that mold for me, and I think that's why it resonates so well with me, and I really do like this particular set here. I'm very, very happy with this particular set. I'm going to grab our plastic tray cover here, stick it back on here, grab our punch boards here, stick it back on there, and that's what we have here. And then, of course, we've got the actual game cover, box cover, whatever you want to call it there. So, yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts about this. I'm really, really liking this one. I'm really glad that this one is going to be available at retail as well. I would really like to get around to being able to paint these things, but I know that's not going to happen anytime soon. But as just base unpainted miniatures, I think they look great. The only drawback I really have about this is the same one as I had with the She-Ra and the Great Rebellion expansion. There are no scenario sheets in here to include to change up the gameplay. The only thing you're really getting is the different skill sets, the different characters. That's the variability here, but the actual game itself is going to stay the same. I do like the idea better of having some sort of scenarios that are specific to, like the Horde. But other than that, I think this is great. It's really awesome. Yes, I'm going to hush now because that's all the time we've got for today. Luckily. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think of this expansion, the Evil Horde. How does it fit? How does the Evil Horde itself fit into your lexicon of Masters of the Universe lore? How do you think they did on the execution of this? If you've actually got around to playing this How do you think these characters do overall as far as balance and things like that with their skill sets and stuff like that? Is there a particular favorite miniature out of this set that you like the best? What's your favorite Horde character? Drop those in the comment section. And anything else you want to put down there, that's what it's there for. Let's engage a little bit. If you'd like to see anything in future episodes, put that in the comment section as well. I'll see what I can do to get out in front of y'all. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for more awesome content coming down the pipeline. I think we have one expansion left. I'll keep it a secret if you didn't already know what it was, but one more of these to come, and then we'll have the entire base game or Kickstarter exclusive bundle of games for the Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia out and ready for you. So stick around for that. Be looking for those new videos. Until next time, game on.